Hey, I'm Jon Thelen, host of Lindy's Fish Ed Television. It's Easter Sunday, and I would be sitting outside in the boat like I was earlier when I answered a couple questions, but not right now, man. I'll tell you what, there's 4 inches of snow on the ground. It's cold, so I'm just doing it from my porch here. We've had a couple questions come in, and one of them was, how do I decide where to start when I get to a new body of water? And I think that's one of the trickiest things for most anglers is understanding and figuring out how to locate fish when they first arrive at a new body of water. And really, it's not that complicated. Just look at it from a time of year standpoint, okay? If I'm in the springtime and I show up at a new body of water, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look along that first break. The reason I'm looking along that first break is if I'm in that May time frame, May into early June, there's always fish that are hanging around that neighborhood from the first break out to the second break. And when I say the first break, what I mean is that first break where the bottom depth will drop somewhere from 8, 9 down to 12, 13, 14 feet. There's usually a fairly defined break there. And then there's usually a second break that'll happen somewhere around 17, 18, 19 feet down into deep water, 25, 26 feet. So I'm always going to start around that first break. If I'm in the middle of summer, I'm going to look around that second break and then off into mid-lake structures. If I'm in the fall, I'm going to look from that second break up to that first break and then keep following that further and further up above that first break and into the shoreline, but I'm going to start at about that second break, working my way back up towards shore. Weeds are one overlooked summertime location that can be awesome. Very seldom are weeds a real good thing in the early spring, but when they actually develop and they're giving off a lot of oxygen, you can a lot of times come back into some of that shallow water, that 8, 9, 10 feet of water where some weeds are growing, and catch fish in there as well. And that pretty much goes for any game fish. I don't care if it's walleyes, pike, bass, whatever it is. A couple other things. Trust your electronics. I run Humminbird electronics. I have run them for years, and I'm paying a lot of attention to my electronics. I'm looking for schools of bait fish. I'm looking for where those weeds might be. I'm looking for structure, and I'm looking for fish. Pretty common for me to spend a fair amount of time on a new body of water just looking, and it might mean a half hour, it might mean 10 minutes, it might mean 2 hours, but I'm going to look until I see something and I can contact it and have a pretty good idea of what I'm fishing for or what I'm fishing near. And if I do that, I tend to believe I'm going to catch fish most of the time. If you start in those general areas, spring, summer, and fall, trust your electronics, do a little bit of looking around, odds are you're going to bump into a few fish no matter what the species is that you're chasing.